If you've been thinking about starting your own YouTube channel, but you keep overthinking your niche, let me guess. Your brain sounds something like this. How do I know what niche to pick for my YouTube channel? What if my niche already has a lot of people talking about it? Is it too saturated? Is there room for me? If I pick a niche, am I stuck there forever? Do I need to be an expert before I start? These are all really common questions that we all wrestle with in the beginning when we're getting started. You are not alone. The only wrong niche there is the one you don't start. So instead of overthinking, here are a couple of things you can think about to kind of decide on what niche works for you. The first thing you can do is ask the people around you what they think you're good at. This can be your spouse or close friends or family members. A lot of times, other people will see something in you that you didn't really see, or you are good at it, so you don't realize that other people are not good at it. And an example of this between my husband and I, he's a chef. He's always been the one in charge of all the meals, and he's always just been really good at it. And it really stresses me out. Even though he has been a chef, he's gone to school for it, and he's worked as a chef. I never really thought about how meal planning is just really easy for him. I would find myself going to the pantry and trying to figure out what we're going to make. And I would just be standing there, just staring at all the random things in our pantry for, I don't know, an embarrassingly long amount of time. I don't even know. And all of a sudden, my husband walking behind me, and he would just grab something off the shelf as if he had been planning it for a week or something. And he goes, set on the counter. And the next thing I knew, he had this wonderful dinner, all done. And all I could do was sit there and ask, how did you do that? And his reaction was always, it's really not that hard. And this was very frustrating for me because I'm like, why is this so stressful for me? But he keeps saying it's so easy. But then there would be other times where I would be, for example, maybe sitting down with our kids if they've been fighting or they're crying about something or whatever the situation is. And my husband is just, I can tell he's just getting really impatient and frustrated. And I'll come in and just sit down and talk to them and try to figure out why they're feeling that way or why they did that thing or whatever. And in no time, we've found a solution. We've gotten over it. Everybody said sorry or whatever the situation was. And then we're able to move on from there. And everybody is happy and we feel loved. And I'll go to him and say, it really wasn't that hard. After thinking about this, there were a couple times of the last couple of years where I've had friends watching me talk to my kids, kind of working through these things. And when I turn around and I realize that my friends were watching me, they just noticed me talking to my kids. They will make a comment and this happened multiple times with different friends, and a lot of my friends don't even know each other, and they would comment on how patient I am or how good I am with my kids or whatever the situation. And after I was told this several times, I started to begin to believe this. Now obviously my husband has a natural talent when it comes to preparing food and all things related to the kitchen and being a chef, and he's really good at that. I just finally start to realize that this is just, he doesn't understand why it's hard for me because that is his skill. And then I started to realize that it's hard for him because this must be just something that I am naturally better at. And this kind of goes along with coaching as well. I have this patience and this wanting to understand what the other person is saying for when it comes to my friends and adults as well. This is kind of a skill that coaches need. But the point is a lot of times other people will start to notice things that you're good at that you just didn't recognize because you were good at it. Another thing that can be really helpful is just journaling it out. Just taking some time and really sitting down and just writing out anything and everything you can think of that you're interested in or that you're good at or your passions. You don't even have to be great at it. You don't have to be an expert at it. You don't even have to be super passionate about it. Just mind dump everything you can possibly think of that you're interested in talking about or just anything and everything. Just get it all out in a journal entry. And as you're journaling, you can kind of think into the future as well. Think maybe 5 years out or so. What do you want to look back on and be remembered for? What is something that you would be proud to be talking about. Another thing you can kind of look back on is there one particular thing that people are asking you about? Do your friends come to you and ask you questions or ask you for help around this particular subject? Or maybe it's not even a specific thing they're asking about, but maybe you have coworkers that are asking you maybe it's not about a particular thing in your job, but you start realizing that they're asking you, they like the way that you organize your systems for work or something related that is, as you're journaling things out and thinking through things, pay attention to what people are coming to you for advice or help around. There's a fun exercise that I have gone through and sat and thought about. Imagine somebody says there is a room full of 1,000 people and you've got to go speak in front of them for 30 minutes. There's children, there's people in retirement, there's male, there's female, all types of people going through all types of things. What are you going to talk about? That's going to make you really nervous because now everybody's looking at you, and some people are going to be interested in what you're saying, but others probably are not going to be interested. And this is going to be really uncomfortable, right? But what if somebody came to you and said, in the next room, there are 10 people and they all are very interested in what you have to say? They're all the same general person. The example that I have heard that comes to mind right now is maybe you are a woman who has just gone through menopause and somebody comes in and says there are 10 people in the next room and they're just starting to go through menopause and they don't know anything about it and they're really struggling and they really want advice on what to do, on how to get through this, and they really need your help. Can you please go talk to them? Now that is something you're going to get really excited about because you know that you can help them and you're going to want to do everything you can to help them in whatever way you possibly can. I thought that was really cool to think about because that's exactly what you're doing when you're getting started on YouTube. You are just focusing on the people that you can actually help. And when you're thinking about this doesn't have to be something you're an expert at, and it doesn't even have to be something you're super passionate about. The best niches to get in are under the health, wealth, or relationship niches. Maybe you have recently lost a bunch of weight and you're excited about it, and that's something that you can talk about for a long period of time or for several videos worth. That could be something under health, or with wealth. Maybe you just got off debt and you want to teach other people how to do the steps that you took to get out of debt. Or maybe you've just gone through something as a parent or as a spouse and you want to help other couples get through whatever you've gone through. Or maybe you want to help other parents have better relationships with their kids. Another thing you can think about is what would you do even if you never got paid for it? Or you can kind of think about the things that you just do in general in your free time. I just want to wrap this up by saying no matter how many people are in your niche, nobody has been through the things that you've been through. Nobody has your experience. Nobody has your personality. Nobody is just like you. You were created to be you with exactly what you have right now. There's no competition when you step up and you step into who you were created to be. And just remember, whenever you pick a niche, you are not stuck there forever. I highly recommend you sticking with one because if you try to go after two rabbits, you're not going to catch either one of them. Something I've heard over and over and over. And when somebody finds your video and they're going to want to go to your page and find more information about what your first video was about. And if they go to your page and they find a whole bunch, and just because you pick a niche does not mean that you're stuck there forever. Now, of course, if you're trying to go in multiple different directions, that's not going to be very helpful. If you think about somebody finding one of your videos, they're going to want to go to your page and find more information related to that topic. And if they go to your page and they find something totally random and not something they're interested in, they're not going to stick around. But that doesn't mean that you have to stay stuck there forever. I highly recommend sticking with one subject or one niche for at least 90 days, so about 3 months, sticking with the one topic. And just remember, once you find success within that niche, you can always expand from there once you've kind of gotten feedback from your audience and you've grown. But stick with the one subject at least for 90 days. And then after that 90 days, if you really don't like it or you just really feel a desire to change your niche, then you can kind of go in another direction. But don't expect it to just suddenly take off. And then if it doesn't just suddenly take off, then that means it doesn't work. You have to stick with it for a while. Another thing I want you to remember is that you do not have to be an expert. You just need to be a couple of steps ahead. If you think about learning from somebody who's already at the top of the mountain, they're already very successful, they're going to make things sound really easy. But then when you go to try to implement what they're teaching, it's not going to be as easy as they make it seem. It's going to feel very overwhelming. What I have been realizing is that the experts who are trying to teach you how to climb the mountain, most of the time they expect they are already halfway up there, but you're actually still at the bottom of the mountain. So just keep in mind, you're teaching somebody who's trying to get to the mountain that you've already started climbing. They need to find the mountain before they can learn how to get to the top. And that's where you come in. So here's my challenge. Just decide on a niche and stick with it for 90 days at least. Don't pivot or jump around. Just stick with the one and dive deeper into that one topic. If you want a worksheet to help guide you through these questions and the things to think about, just click the link in the description below.